Here's what most leaders get wrong about meetings. They think the number of meetings is the problem. What they really have is a communication problem. And that's why your meetings feel pointless. The average leader spends 8+ hours a week in useless meetings. It's because you're trying to communicate updates, decisions, alignment, and accountability all at once. Today, I'm going to show you how to stop running useless meetings and refocus the meetings you keep so they're shorter, clearer, and actually productive. So in this video, I'll show you how to clarify what does and doesn't belong in meetings, how to make your meetings more efficient, and how to stop revisiting the same topics in every meeting. You're going to walk away with a simple framework that you can use to make every meeting that you run more productive. So first, let's clarify what does and doesn't belong in meetings. A lot of meetings exist because leaders default to live conversation anytime something needs to be communicated. But meetings shouldn't be your primary communication channel. They should be reserved for decision-making, brainstorming, strategic alignment, and complex problem solving. Activities that require real-time engagement and collaboration. If your meetings are passive information sharing sessions, then you're doing it wrong. So here's a simple filter that you can use. If it's an update, information sharing, or anything that can be read and processed individually, it definitely doesn't need a meeting. That's why it's important to create a central place where information lives, a shared system, or a project management tool, something that's a single source of truth that anybody can go to and get the right answer. And Slack should not be your single source of truth. Major decisions should be communicated via email, where all stakeholders see what's being communicated and then shared and made accessible to all team members in a centralized system. When you have a central place to find answers that all team members know about, meetings are no longer needed for basic information sharing. And if you want to reclaim some of your time each week, this is a great place to start. Now, number 2 is make your meetings more efficient. When a meeting is necessary, how do you make sure it's a good use of everybody's time? One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is not having an agenda or not following the one that they have. Agendas should be published before the meeting, giving everyone a chance to review, give feedback, and add topics. And the agenda needs to be clear, not vague. What decisions are we making? What problems are we solving? What outcomes are we aiming for? Any individual thinking should happen before the meeting, and that means pre-reads, which are data, context, proposals, risk. Send them early enough for people to actually review them before the meeting. So when the meeting starts, everybody's ready to discuss, rather than using the meeting time to catch up. Invite input from attendees ahead of time. Ask if anything needs to be added so you're not blindsided during the meeting. Then establish how much time will be spent on each topic. Make sure you time box it. If a topic runs long, you have 2 options: table the discussion or consciously decide what gets dropped or delayed off the agenda. Respect time boundaries so that every topic gets sufficient coverage. There's nothing worse than being prepared to present in a meeting only to hear, "Sorry, we ran out of time." And third, stop revisiting the same topics in every meeting. This is where a lot of leaders not only lose a lot of time, they also lose their sanity. Revisiting the same conversations each week. This often happens when there's not a clear decision owner, or people miss a meeting or a decision, and there's no clear way to get that information asynchronously. Every project should operate with a clear decision framework. Who can make which decisions? What decisions can the team make without you? When do you actually need to be involved? If decision ownership is unclear, or if you own all decisions, you become the bottleneck. That creates more meetings, and it makes your team dependent on you for everything. Teams want autonomy, but if you own all the decisions, they won't make a move on anything without consulting you first. And every meeting should end with clear action items, clear owners, and clear timelines. Also, who's doing what, by when will it be done, and how will progress be communicated. When those things are clear, you stop needing another meeting just to figure out what happened in the last one. Now, meetings aren't the enemy. Unclear communication is the enemy. When you clarify what belongs in meetings, prepare properly before you walk into the room, and close with decisions and ownership and action items, the number of meetings start to shrink. You stop holding meetings out of habit, no more revisiting the same conversations, and then you stop being the bottleneck and you start getting back your time. Now, if you want, drop a comment with how many hours you think you could reclaim each week from useless meetings. And if you want to go deeper on leadership communication, I break it down in my book, Born a Statistic, Built to Be a Leader. The link is in the description.